Welcome back to the Martinez Report. It's me, JP, and today we'll be talking about the new ad released by Gap featuring the girl group KATSEYE, which is seemingly their response to the now famous American Eagle ad featuring Sydney Sweeney. So last week, Gap released a new ad featuring the girl group KATSEYE, and in case you haven't seen it, here are the first few seconds of the ad.
My milkshake brings all the boys to the yard, and their life is better than yours. Damn right, it's better than yours.
Now, it doesn't seem like a big deal, but people were pretty quick to point out that it did seem like this was Gap's response to the American Eagle Sydney Sweeney ad.
Genes are passed down from parents to offspring, often determining traits like hair color, personality, and even eye color. My genes are blue.
Sydney Sweeney has very genes.
And you might think, why would they think that? Well, I'd say it's because it has a simpler backdrop, like a very plain monotone white backdrop with very much very minimal aesthetics, very like almost seems like a low budget. However, this ad is different. As you can tell, it's kind of more like a music video. It has more actors, more of the, it has a KATSEYE, which is a girl group consisting of 6 members. It's been active for about 2 years. They've been active for about 2 years, I should say. And it seems to me that it really was a response, because Sydney Sweeney, came out there saying, I have good genes. And there seems to be like Gap's response saying, hey, the controversy, we're going to have like a whole plethora of diverse people from the girl group. And it doesn't seem too bad. I saw it because people were saying it was a response to the Gap ad, and it didn't seem to be so deep at first. However, when you kind of like dig more into the ad and watch it over and over again, as I did unfortunately, you kind of see people's point, and that I do believe that it is kind of a dig at American Eagle. First of all, I have to say, what do I think of the ad? I think it's okay. I think the choreography could be better. Some bits are kind of cool. It's kind of like a music video, but other times the thing is, like, the ad is like a minute and a half. It's very long. The song I'm not a big fan of. It's kind of quirky. I don't really like it. And I just think I don't understand why the band members of KATSEYE were so scantily clad. Like, you're supposed to sell like jeans and like denim jackets, but they were like in like a white tank top, and one of them seems to be in like a brassiere made of denim. I didn't really understand that. I wasn't a fan, but I didn't hate the ad. I wasn't like, oh my gosh, it's like the woke left, attacking back, striking back. But I wouldn't say I'm a fan of the ad. I have to say, before this ad came out, I had no idea who KATSEYE was. I don't know how to talk about a band. And I looked them up. They have over 3 million followers, or should I say over 3 million subscribers on YouTube. However, their highest viewed music video only seems to have over 40 million views, which isn't a lot in comparison to other giant girl groups like like Blackpink or stuff like that people actually know. Because I've never heard of KATSEYE. No shade. And on Instagram they have about like 4 or 5 million followers, which is fine, but in comparison to Sydney Sweeney, she has over 25 million. So I think these like stars are not on the same level, in my opinion. And so that's kind of like my problem. Like, I think if Gap really wanted to make a statement, they would have had a bigger stars, in terms of a girl group. If they would have brought like Blackpink to the ad, I think it would have actually made like more of a wave, more of a like a statement if they wanted to. However, it makes sense that they didn't use Blackpink, even if they could or couldn't, because Blackpink, they're all like one race. So I guess they wanted to have like diversity. And to be fair, KATSEYE does have a wide array of different of their members are different races and different stuff, which is it's interesting. But no, it's weird because this ad was supposed to be like a huge statement by Gap, but I really had no idea who these people were. I don't know any of their names, and I've never seen them before. So it was kind of like, I know they have their fans, but I don't think that the general public would know who they are. Like, for example, yesterday actually I went to Times Square to get some gifts for my family, and on my way there, of course, I passed Times Square, and there was like the giant televised billboard, and guess who was there? Sydney Sweeney, because everyone knows who she is. American Eagle, everyone knows it. But it was funny because it was such a huge billboard, and then like a block to the right like a very small television was like the KATSEYE Gap commercial, and I was like, oh, like dang, like that's like a um pretty good metaphor, very good symbolism for the situation. Like, yeah, KATSEYE seems to have a very loyal following, and that's great, good for them. But I really had no idea who they were, and I'm sure that the general public has never heard of them. So I'm saying, like, come on, Gap, you should have gotten bigger stars. Like, there's bigger girl groups, I'm sure. And so I wanted to break down the lyrics of the song that was used in the ad to see if we can have any hints to any deeper subliminal messages that Gap and KATSEYE wanted to convey. And so I looked into it, and let's read some of the lyrics of the song. The song is Milkshake by Kellis, which was released in 2003. And let's read the first little bunch of lyrics. My milkshake brings all the boys to the yard, and they're like, it's better than yours. Damn right, it's better than yours. I can teach you, but I have to charge. My milkshake brings all the boys to the yard, and they're like, it's better than yours. Damn right, it's better than yours. I can teach you, but I have to charge. And so that's the type of song that they chose to have. I was confused because I thought at first they would use a song by KATSEYE, but no, they used a different song that is a few decades old, and the song seems to be very risque, and it seems to be very provocative, and I mean the title Milkshake is pretty self-explanatory. But yeah, I think the line that made them want to choose this song was specifically, my milkshake brings all the boys to the yard, and they're like, it's better than yours. And I couldn't help but wonder if that is just a dig at American Eagle, because of course Sydney Sweeney was like, oh, my jeans are good, my jeans are blue. Sydney Sweeney has good jeans, and of course it's very interesting that they chose a song that the second line is, and they're like, it's better than yours, featuring a huge array of different types of people. It was interesting. I don't think that the average person would catch on to it. So I really don't think that Gap did a good enough job of, really making a statement. Because like Sydney Sweeney, she just said it like flat out. Like what her messaging, whether you like it or not, was very crystal clear, easy to understand, very digestible. And it was like 30 seconds. Like this ad is like a minute and a half. No one's gonna, if it comes up on YouTube, no one's gonna watch it for a minute and a half. Like, let's be so for real. And so yeah, those are the lyrics. The rest of the song is very similar. It actually gets more like provocative. I don't really like it. It didn't seem like a great song. It's not a catchy beat in my opinion. But yeah, that's what it's going for. And yeah, that's the song they chose. I don't know why. I guess aside from that one line. But yeah, that's like kind of my overall point. I think that Gap was trying to make a huge statement after they saw the huge controversy / celebration that the American Eagle ad caused. However, I didn't really see any buzz that was created by this ad. Of course, I went into social media, and yes, the posts of this ad have millions of likes, which is great for them. However, it didn't cause any like commotion. I don't really see anyone covering it on like news sources from the entire political spectrum. It's mostly just like, okay, great for the people that liked it, and that's it. It kind of died off, and I don't really see anyone talking about it in social media or in the real world. And so yeah, I think it's funny that Gap really tried to do something, and I'm not even like anti-Gap. I actually like Gap. I was a big fan of their collaboration with Yeezy, which they also terminated, which is funny. But yeah, it didn't really seem to make a dent in pop culture like the American Eagle Sydney Sweeney ad did. But of course, it makes sense because Sydney Sweeney is actually a big star who's in major television series and, major movies. And I'm gonna be honest, if you ask me, hey, what's like a KATSEYE song? I couldn't name one. I don't know if they're like mainstream artists or they're just like TikTok artists. I really don't know. I've never heard a song of theirs. But no, they didn't make any dent aside from, pleasing their loyal followers, which, good for them. I'm happy for them. But I think it's safe to say that Gap, your mission failed. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I want to hear what you think about this whole, I heard someone say online under one of the comments saying, oh, this, we're in the denim wars, which is pretty funny, like American Eagle versus Gap. And actually Levi's is kind of in this mess too because of, the Beyonce stuff from last year. But of course, I do think it's safe to say that the one that has come out victorious so far is still American Eagle. I just think that their ad was unbeatable. It was very good. And it just, I feel like it's a good ad for the jeans, not, this really very extra, music video where they're just like dancing and like hopping around and like twirling on the floor. Like, I don't know. I guess it shows the durability of the jeans, that they won't rip. So I guess that's a good thing. But other than that, I don't feel compelled at all to go to Gap, even though their clothing is fairly good. So yeah, let me know what you think. Let me know in the comments. If you're a fan of KATSEYE, let me know if you like the ad, because I haven't been able to speak with a fan of KATSEYE personally. But if you are, let me know. That's great. And if you're not, let me know what you think of the ad, and let me know who you think is the winner of the Denim Wars. And thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.